2013 record for wins in the European LCS.
저희가 그걸 꼭 깨고 싶었는데 아쉬웠어요 많이.
They've matched their record from spring 2013, 9 games undefeated. This is number 10. Fnatic are onto the Nexus, and they set a new European winning streak record, going 10-0 in summer. The first team ever to do it.
I'm glad that we break our winning streak this time.
Of course, the fact that we're able to beat all the teams pretty significantly feels great for all of us. It kind of feels like we're a bit further ahead than everyone else.
It's going to make us even stronger.
To the European League Championship Series, broadcasting live around the world from our studio in Berlin, Germany. The action is heating up along with the competition. Out the disco lights are on, everyone's ready to party. As you can see, our awesome graffiti wall for the people just about above the entrance as they were enjoying the fantastic Berlin weather. There we see a couple of fans interacting with SK Gaming before the show, tending to their fans before diving into the action there. The Copenhagen Wolves, Freeze, seems like he got a haircut actually, entering the building, setting up for their first game of the day against Gambit Gaming. Betsy there looking for his way on the stage. You'd think he'd know it by now, but he knows where to sit all right. I'm Evie Shogusaportra at the helm of the analyst desk alongside James Stress O'Leary and Mitch Grepo Voorspoels as we embark on week 6 of the summer split. The fans are definitely hyped to go, and we're starting to see the standings spread out as teams play each other for the second time this summer. And at the top of the tables, things are unchanged, but not completely. Fnatic is still up there with their winning streak. Origin, though, is in second place now in lieu of H2K.
Yeah, Origin jump up above H2K, and a lot of it was to do with H2K having a rough week last week. We'll get into that a little bit later when we talk about H2K, but a really rough showing with that 0-2 week. First time in a very long time for them. Yeah,
quite a rough week. On the other hand, Elements and Roccat, fantastic week. First 2-0 for those teams.
Yeah, both teams going 2-0, and especially for Roccat, this must feel great. With the resurgence of Steve as a top laner almost, he took off that tank mantle and he started playing more of these split pushes. 2 games, I believe, he played Echo, and he has had a really good performance. And in addition to that, not only Roccat, Elements had a good performance too, and this kind of makes it very interesting for me to see how that bottom of the table will start playing out as we see these teams play against each other right now. And we may finally see a little separation of that bottom 7, maybe divide in like an actually top 5, bottom 5, or just see who comes out on top, because the race for playoffs is slowly starting.
Definitely, and maybe the golden age is finally here for Roccat. They're playing SK and Gambit this week, so definitely a chance for a win there. Elements, though, versus H2K and OG. If they want to make something happen, they're going to have to do their darndest. And they have a lot to play with, though, because patch 5.12 goes live here in the tournament realm also today. So let's take a look at the changes, starting with the jungle. Runeglaive there in lieu of the Magus enchantment, but we've seen it a lot outside of the jungle if we've been watching the game.
Yeah, there was a lot of discussion on social media when it comes to where Runeglaive is going to appear. And the place that people have been talking about is Ezreal, in the middle lane, actually. A very weird one, AP Ezreal mid lane. We've heard it talked about a lot, but we actually didn't see it in the European Challenger Series yet this week. So it's on our radar, but maybe not a first pick.
Maybe in the LCS, and a couple of nerfs there for Ryze coming in, as he's been very popular here the last couple of weeks. Not that much, so we'll see what happens. And Echo as well. We've seen him top, we've seen him mid, we've seen him jungle, but he's also been shut down.
Yeah, a couple of these popular picks right now being hit a little bit by the nerf pad, ever so slightly, and additionally, also Gragas has been nerfed, and he's on his way down from that tier 1 jungle position, but I don't think he will fall anytime soon, because he and Rek'Sai are all the way up there as tier 1 junglers, and the only question I have is Rek'Sai going to emerge as the predominant, like, single tier 1 jungler this week? I'm not quite sure, but I imagine people will keep trading Rek'Sai and Gragas.
We will see our final changes in the defensive masteries. It is concerning defensive bonus, armor, and MR. They weren't that popular defensive masteries to begin with. I doubt this will be a big surge in popularity, but we have been wrong before, and very wrong at that, so we will see. And with the nerfs hitting a lot of the top tier picks here in Europe, we wanted to step back and look at how the meta will continue to shift with 5.12 with our teacher Crepo.
Teacher Crepo. Okay, no, but we're in week 6 right now, over in the European LCS, and it's always a good point to reflect and see how the meta has changed. And the first thing that sprung to mind for me was Maokai. We saw him a lot at the end of last season. We saw him a lot at the start of this season. But if we see on what's on your screen right now, he was picked 13 times week 1 and 2, but only 3 times weeks 3 and 5. And one of those times was only, you know, by the top 3 teams. In total, he's been picked 15 times by the lower tier teams. So he's kind of fallen off. A lot of these top teams have been switching over to more damage-oriented top laners, facilitating that triple threat composition we saw back last week.
Yeah, we were talking about that a lot as our keys to the top teams. We've seen a lot now of this triple threat style, 3 carries on the team with, you know, the likes of Echo, the likes of Rumble coming in that top lane as well, just to provide another damage threat.
Yeah, you have Rise, Rumble coming out of there, and this is the most recent meta shift router is Poke, and that's what I want to touch on too. You have all that magic damage users mentioned, and the new Poke champions that are coming out. In addition to the old Kog'Maw, we now have the Varus in the mid lane, the Jace in the mid lane. Combined 9 picks in week 5, 7 wins, 2 losses. So Poke is on the rise right now, and everybody wants to play it. And they add a little extra damage in the top lane for that, facilitating those AP top laners, maybe a Corki in the bottom. But then you need something to tie that all together, the glue that sticks it all together, and that is Janna. We saw her barely picked in the first 4 weeks. That is 40 games. She was only picked 4 times. But the last week, 10 games, she was picked 7 times, out of which she won 6. So incredibly high win rate, incredibly high pick rate, most pick support, and she gets picked so often because she offers the disengage, which is so crucial for this Poke composition. And if we sum it all together, if you go for a quick TLDR, is this week we'll see a lot of Poke. We see more AD damage coming out in the likes of Varus and Jace. But we have the Janna for disengage. Now my questions are people going to start banning out this Janna? Or will we finally see the resurgence of hard engage, traditionally has been the counter to Poke?
Yeah, we will see. Well, thank you very much for that. We heard from Krepo where he thinks the meta game is going. He couldn't keep it to 140 characters or less. But we're going to ask you to do it, though. Tweet at LL Esports and let us know, how do you think teams should adapt to patch 5.12 and why? Trust.
It's an interesting one because I had the fortunate opportunity to watch 6 games of 5.12 with Challenger Series. We saw a mixed bag, a lot of split pushing coming out alongside that. So that's one thing that's on our radar, but I think that's a lot more to do with the Challenger Series kind of player champion pools more than anything.
Well, we will see what comes out here, but remember to send your responses about the meta changes at LL Esports, and don't forget that hashtag LCS. And now we'll see how all that plays out today as we kick off week 6 with a match between Gambit and the Copenhagen Wolves. We have Fnatic who's going to take on the Giants in game 3, Rock at SK, and our game of the week, the Unicorns of Love versus OG. That'll be game 4 here today. Very exciting. UOL definitely need a win after a last couple of shaky weeks, and OG looking in form as ever. But for now, to get into our very first game of the day, we're going to check in with Pyrotechnics, who's on stage for an inside look at Gambit Gaming.
Thank you very much, Shocks. I am standing here with Gambit Sean. Oh, not quite ready yet. All right, thank you very much, Shocks. I'm standing next to Gambit's Sean's. I believe we spoke a couple of weeks ago, and I wanted to follow up a little bit because when I last talked to you, I asked what it was like to be a coach standing here now. You're 6 weeks in. What's changed in your mind?
We had good training so far in the training sessions, and we had like a middle ground result, I would say, because we won against teams like Elements, and I think and SK, it was the goal to win against those, and then we didn't manage to go one step ahead, beating like Fnatic, H2K, and Origen, so I'm still a bit sad about those games, but I still think that we have a lot of potential to beat this team later on.
Later on in the split, there's always still plenty of time, even though it is 6 weeks down the line. I did want to ask you about some of those recent results, too. You had some tough weeks, but you haven't managed to find wins since that 3-game streak you had a few weeks ago. What is your plan, or rather, what is your goal for Gambit at the end of this split? Where do you see them placing?
First of all, I think that the main goal is to be in playoffs, no matter what, but we aim for like 1st and 2nd place. But now that we lost a bit to Fnatic, Origen, and Unicorn, like it's gonna be harder. So I just want us to be like the most prepared possible to come into the playoff. And it would be a huge disappointment if we are not in the first 6th place. But I'm pretty sure that we will be like at least 5 or 4 into the end of this split because we are doing really well so far into the scrims, and we were the team that did the most trouble to Fnatic, I guess. And they just are super good as a team, and so. Basically, yeah, we just want to be prepared for playoff and to be the best at the end of the split because it's what matters in the end.
Absolutely. You know, it's nice that you give some respect to a lot of these other teams, also being very confident. So that sounds like you've got the right mentality for it. So all said and done, thank you very much. You can go ahead and join your team, Sean's. And as we send it off to start this game off and this week off, we're going to hear, of course, what Gosu Pepper has to say about this week's matchups and why they're a must-win.
losing to teams like H2K, Fnatic, Origin, like what is top 3, kinda, it's acceptable because we learn a lot from it, but winning, of course, is better. But losing to teams like Wolves, Giants, Unicorns of Love, and others is like, it's not acceptable at all, because if you lose them, most likely you're gonna be out of playoffs, or you're gonna just get the 6th place or 5th. It's really, you're gonna be really close. So winning those teams, it's really, really important.
Not